Hello, everyone, and thanks for giving us a listen. If you'd like to show our support, please check out our Patreon and Linktree under Interactive Distractions for access to additional Day 1 content, as well as to be part of our awesome community. Thanks again, and we hope you continue to be distracted.
I'm a bad boy, yeah, don't forget it. No rest, no sleep, because we're bringing it on.
Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions. My name is episode 437.
Hello,
We're starting off
episode.
great today. We're starting
I like
off great
that.
today. Starting off great. My name is Christopher Riccio. I am here with Travis Baum,
Hello.
Jason A. Stryker.
Can I call you Epi for short?
You can call me Epi for short. Sure.
All right.
Only because I love you, Jason.
Epi
And Jeff
Chris.
Jorney.
What up?
Today we are going to be doing some distractions, a little bit of news, and then we have a question that we're going to go over that was put out there on Twitter. So, but before we do all that, we got to see what's going on. So I'm going to start with Jeff today. Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing okay. Missed a couple weeks, but back.
Yeah, where you been, man?
I took a trip to the US of A.
Oh my God.
For a week.
They let you in here?
They did, with hardly any questions asked too, which is
That is kind of weird.
yeah, that is weird. It was kind of easy peasy going over that border, so I smuggled a whole bunch of shit to your country. It was
Your skin's white. It tends to be a lot easier, right?
yeah, well, and they kind of don't really, but
Yeah, white skin, you flashed a gun and they're like, oh, he's one of us.
they're like,
Yeah, he's one of us, that's
Come on
okay.
now.
He's one of us. Oh my God.
Oh man, so yeah, I went there for it was kind of like a dual birthday thing for Tanya and for her sister. So we went with the in-laws to went to Massachusetts first.
Massachusetts.
Um,
I like that.
yeah.
We should keep that. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah, Tanya's cousin has like a lot there. They put like a camper on and stuff, and it was like this community of people that all done the same thing, and people ride around on golf carts and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, that was fun. So we did that for like 3 or 4 days. Then we drove to New York City after that and spent the next few days in New York City.
That's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, been to New York City a few times. This one was, it was fun. We went to like the Nintendo store because
Oh,
I don't
nice.
think, I don't know if that was there the first time I went to New York. I don't know how new that is. I don't know if it's new or old or I just didn't know about it. Yeah, that was cool. It was a Nintendo store. A lot of people like myself and who you'd see in a Nintendo store.
Okay.
Didn't buy anything though. There wasn't anything that really stood out that I was like, oh, I need to have that, or that would be like, that's cool. I even was like, hey, I'll get an amiibo, but they hardly had any of the amiibos there.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah, at least not ones that I would be interested in. There's also a Poke Fest going on there, and the nephew, they got tickets to go because the nephew's really big into Pokemon, and they went. We didn't go. It was only my brother-in-law and him went. They did the whole Pokemon Go thing there, and there's a crap load of people. And apparently, he was one of the youngest people there.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He's
Wow.
9.
Honestly, that's accurate. Like I feel like it's mostly adults playing it now. Like kids got
That's-
bored with it. You know?
Yeah, he
It's like
was-
we're done with this shit. You know, it's like my kids don't touch it anymore, but like my neighbors
Oh,
play
really?
it all the time. Yeah, they don't really mess with it at all.
Yeah, no, he's still in it there, and yeah, my brother-in-law was like, no, we went there, and it was. He said the average age is probably like early 30s, most likely.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Late 20s, early 30s.
Wow.
And the hotel we're staying at definitely saw a lot of people coming out of there with their Pokemon backpacks, like grown ass men and women, which I can't say shit because I mean, hey, if I grow with Pokemon, I might be into it. I don't get it.
There's a difference.
but-
There's a difference between like a bunch of 30 and 40-year-olds playing video games in the comfort of their own home or going to a fun video game event or something. But like when it's clearly
don't
a
mobile
kid's
game shame.
when it's
Don't
when,
mobile
when
game
it's
shame.
I'm not mobile game shaming. Fuck that.
Okay.
No, when
Yeah.
it's like clearly a kid's game and it's like a bunch of 30-year-olds trolling the streets, like trying to like find different things, like I can see how it could be odd.
It's
Like,
weird. Yeah,
It's odd.
yeah. Like you see a couple people playing.
I'm
It's like,
not
sure.
surprised. Like I
Yeah.
I wasn't really a fan of Pokemon when I was, when it came out.
Same. Yeah.
But like if you were into Pokemon at the time and you've been into Pokemon since then, like I could totally see that
People
being a
grew up
thing.
on that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they grew up on it, man.
I was
So
I was in the Pokemon Go. I'm assuming this is for Pokemon Go, right?
It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it I mean, I was in that deep for about 2 or 3 weeks. Like when it first popped off, it was super hot. And had a good time with it. But like you always saw like parents with their kids walking around because it was fresh and
Mhm.
new for everybody. But like, yeah, I can imagine like if I'm like if I had children, like a 15, 16-year-old, and I knew that they were going out like doing Pokemon stuff. If I found out it's nothing but like 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds like with my teenage child, like I'd be like, I'm a little creeped out about that a little bit. So that's all I'm saying. Not necessarily 30 and 40-year-olds shouldn't be playing like any game that they
No, they could
want. It's
totally
not the
play it.
case.
It
They
just
can play whatever they want.
first thing that came to my mind though when they were going to this thing, I was like, "Oh, the kids are gonna love it. It's gonna be busy. He's gonna have a great time." I didn't expect them to come back and be like, "Yeah, there was maybe 20 kids there." Like that's
Yeah.
just something
Yeah.
I just didn't expect. Didn't even go through my head. Like if it was something like Transformers or like again, it's stuff that again, it's a there's slight different age difference, and I'd be like, okay, just because I didn't grow up with Pokemon, I automatically assume it's still a kids thing. But even
Yeah.
though we still like that kid shit that we grew up with, so I
Mhm.
mean,
Well, there's not as much
seen
as
it.
for them to like ingest now. Like the cartoon's done, right? Like
I don't know.
I don't think
It
that,
is. It ended. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's over.
the cartoon with Ash ended.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're gonna bring out something else. But
Probably, but yeah, maybe it's just that there's less Pokemon for them to like get hooked on.
Catch.
yeah.
They've caught them all, and they're bored.
Yeah, who
We've got them
knows?
all.
There's a
Well,
lot to keep
maybe
track
the
of.
Digimon Fest will be bigger for
Well,
the younger audience.
Fuck yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Give
Or
me-
I don't
No,
know.
now it's all
Pokemon,
now it's all One Piece and
Mm.
Naruto,
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
things like that.
Okay.
You guys, they're gonna have a Monster Hunter Now game, which is like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have
I
to
saw
leave the
that.
house
Oh, really?
now. Yeah, it's fucked
I'm,
up.
I'm,
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And this is everything. All of this is based around what was that game they brought out that
That
like
Niantic,
the one that was
yeah.
like it
Oh,
was
I can't remember what it
Ingress or
was.
something like that.
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah,
Where
I
you had
remember
to
that.
kind of hunt down the portals. Like that's
Glenn
where all this came
Glenn
from.
was big on that for
He was
some
he
time.
was
Yeah.
huge on that. And I was big on Pokemon Go for a while too, and I didn't even grow up with Pokemon really. Well, I played the first Pokemon and then I was done. And I fell off, and then I don't remember who it was, but we got jumped back on as like a family, and like there's always God, what do they call it? There's like community days
Nerds.
where they have
Oh.
Raids, right?
specific they have specific Pokemon that show up a lot. And then
Huh.
there's they do like these there's nights where they do active raids like all over the place. So if you
Mm.
live near a park or something like that, you can walk around the park, and like every gym that shows up in the game has a raid on it, and there was probably a good 2-3 months where we did all that like regularly, and then the kids just kind of fell off of it, and then so did I. My wife played it for a little bit longer, but yeah, I do have a shiny Mewtwo.
Hey,
So that was a thing. I can't remember when it happened, but it was at one of the raid days that was going on, and jumped in a bunch of with a bunch of other people. There were like a dozen people like crowded around this little area, and we're all jumping in to face Mewtwo, and after we beat him, popped up, and I was like, I got a shiny, and like everybody came and looked at my screen. I'm like, right. It's just I'll be honest with you though, the community, especially in this area, like the Pokemon Go community, is they're all pretty cool. They're all nice, right? They want to help out. If you're looking for something specific, they're willing to trade with you and things like that. So there's like a Discord for like Fulton County, like Pokemon Go and things like that. My buddy Jerry and his wife still play a lot, and then my neighbor plays it a ton as well.
Hi, Jerry.
So yep.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
I love the whole nerd culture zeitgeist in Atlanta, man. It's untouched. by
Yeah.
any place. I've lived in a few places, and it's just that
Shit, Dragon
culture
Con's
is.
next weekend, man.
There you go.
Oh,
It's
man.
it's right here. It's right now, man. So it's coming up.
You gonna take the kids to the parades?
Uh, maybe we haven't
Should.
really
It's
decided yet.
fun.
Yeah. But we're not going to the con. It's I thought about it because there's going to be. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was like the cast of Strange New Worlds is that going to be there. And if you're a Star Trek fan, you should be watching Strange New Worlds. It's absolutely great. But yeah, so we were considering it, and it just kind of fell off. So
Cool.
but good stuff.
Word. Yeah.
And that
other
was
than
how
that,
Jeff is.
Yeah. Ate some pizza. Had to try the halal guys cart. That was cool. We got there
Try
at a
the
good
what now?
time. Halal guys. They got like it blew up there. It's like a food cart thing that's basically
Oh,
like
okay,
shawarma,
okay.
and it got like huge, especially with like TikTok and everything. We got there at a good time. We somehow there's only like 10 people in line, but while we were in line, the line got pretty big. But it was good. It was a good trip. And then glad to be back.
Good stuff, man.
Glad to be back in my own bed, and we shared this one. It was kind of a large-ish hotel room, but there's 8 of us in that room, including 2 kids. So
Whew, that's a lot of people, man.
yeah,
a lot.
it was 2 bathrooms though, so that was good. But yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah. Glad to have you. Welcome back.
Welcome back,
You welcome.
You
back.
welcome back.
Hey.
Travis. What's up?
Hey. Yeah, it's going all right. So did a little Disney this weekend. It did not go as planned.
It wasn't the most magical place on earth.
Not for us.
Not this time.
So
Because all the adults were in Pokefest, and there was all kids in Disney World.
well, that's the problem. The adults were the problem, actually. So it was so
Adults are always the problem.
Melissa had asked me what I wanted to do for my birthday during the middle of the week. So I was like, let's just do Disney. Let's not overcomplicate it. I don't need too much. Let's just have a Disney day. She took off, and we were going to go. Now, when we usually go to Disneyland, we wake up super early and get there right when they open, so it's not as busy. We can just have free reign on rides as much as we want. We decided not to do that because we wanted to. My favorite time at Disney is nighttime. I think it's just a completely different experience when you're there at night. Just the neons and the fluorescence just really, really pop, and it's a great experience. And I so we decided to do that. So we started packing up our stuff, heading out to Anaheim to drive to the park. And then to start it off, traffic was like 2.5 hours. It's an hour and 5 minutes with no traffic for us to get to Disneyland. It was 2.5 hours. Traffic was bad. I think we left at around 2.
Damn.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. It was really, really brutal. So that should have been the first sign that, hey, maybe this is not the right
best
move
idea.
to go.
Yeah.
The best idea for us. So we get to the park. Finally, we're at the park. I think it's like right at 5:00. We saw that there's a showing for Rogers the Musical, which is a limited time theater event that they have going on right now. Have you guys watched Hawkeye on Disney Plus?
Yep.
Okay, so there's that Rogers the Musical that was in that one episode
Mhm.
where it was basically a theater play of what happens in the first Avengers movie. And so we went and sat down, watched that. That was awesome. That was great. We were glad that we caught it because it's gone. It's done like next week, I think. So it was our last chance to really see it. So we ended up stepping out of the theater, getting back into the park, and we're like, okay, let's figure out what to do. And we were looking around, and it is just packed to the gills. And it shouldn't be, because it is the week after most schools are all in session. The kids and the parents of those kids should be well at home. But no, for some reason, the park was filled to the gills, like
Damn.
almost max capacity. It was terrible. Every good ride was over an hour wait. We're not doing that. We like, okay, you know what? Let's just eat. Let's just get something to eat right now. And then we'll focus on rides. It'll start getting dark and we can enjoy the park. It'll slow down and we can enjoy the park at night. So we went to go eat, and the main food court area, the outside food court area where we always get something to eat, was completely packed. Couldn't
Just
find a chair.
infested.
Couldn't find.
Damn.
It was nuts. It was nuts. So we found out. So first things first, I looked at that crowd. We're not at Disney. Like, you not counting, remove Rogers the Musical from the entire equation. We're at the park 20 minutes. And when we get there, we get to the area, we see that there's no seating, food, the lines were terrible, and we were like, no, let's go home.
Yeah.
Let's just go home. We're done. So yeah, we ended up just leaving and just ordering some food at home and stuff like that. So it was supposed to be like a birthday Disney day, and it just did not
Aw.
quite work
That's a
out
bummer.
for us. We got to see Rogers. It's gone next week, so like we
I
got
mean, that's
something.
cool. That's
We got
pretty neat.
something out of it.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad. It's a fun little show. But hopefully, well, we did find out, so when we got home, we did find out that the day after the schools were in session, they opened up you couldn't buy annual passes for Disneyland. They've closed off all purchases. They opened them up the day after schools were in session for
Ooh.
California. So everybody and their mom got their season pass, and that's the park was essentially packed full of new pass holders and stuff. So that was probably the reasoning why it was such a miserable day. The population was just insane.
I heard that wrong. You were saying pass holders, and I heard pass holes. Like in my head.
That's a good
Like,
word.
pass holes.
What'd you
Yeah.
say?
there
fucking call
there
me?
are a subset of pass holders who do have a mentality of like, we're a pass holder, we are the ones who keep this place in business type, like, and they are called pass holes. That is a term that
Oh,
is
really?
flung
Okay,
around
cool.
in the Disney
I like it.
community for
I
sure.
like it.
Yeah. It's mainly used by the
They
cast
think they're
members, the folks who work there.
entitled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But that was pretty much it. Other than that, it was a pretty chill. I got to go see a musician a couple of last weekend. So it was a good time. It was fun. Good week.
So before we move to Jason, I'm going to throw
Mm.
some trivia your way. Not
Okay.
really trivia, but you talked about Hawkeye.
Yeah.
You've seen the show, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
So the
Yep.
dog, Pizza Dog.
Yeah.
That is my dog's half sister.
Hey,
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, they're from.
There we go.
They
I
have the
knew
same
it.
mom. They're from the
I
same.
saw
mom.
that dog and I'm like,
Yeah, right. I knew it. I knew it. But no, I know the woman that bred the litters for Flash and for Jolt, who was the one that was on the show.
Mm.
I work with her husband. He's actually a member of my team, and that's where I got Flash, is from them.
that's nuts.
But yeah, she's done commercials with them. She's done, she does all that, and then she does a lot of dog sports. They do dock diving, they do like adventure runs with the dogs and things
Fun.
like that. So lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
That is the first time I've ever heard anybody do the equivalent of a name drop with a dog.
With a dog.
Sister's dog. Yeah. It's in like a movie or a show.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
she's
closest
like, my
thing I
brother's
get.
roommate worked with someone who dated that guy who was on that show.
Father's brother's nephew's uncle's former roommate. But
What does that make you?
Absolutely nothing. All right, Jason, what's up, man?
I got a problem.
Uh-oh.
I
More
got-
buttons.
No,
We all got problems.
No, I still haven't installed those buttons yet. I probably should. I got sidetracked with I found myself with an extra stick of like NVMe storage, like an SSD. Basically made a big ass flash drive out of it. With this guy right here.
Look at
Why?
that.
Well, I put Batacera on it, which is like a Linux distro. Well, not a distro. Anyway, it's Linux, but it's all emulators. It's like a Raspberry Pi essentially.
Okay.
Ooh.
But it's bootable. So you just put this onto any computer, boot it up, and you've got all your fucking games, everything just on this little thing. And it can go to whatever computer you want. The trouble is I don't need this thing. Why am I
Why did you do it?
I've got
Why
a
did I do
Mister.
this?
I've got my computer with all my ROMs on it. Why did I spend $30
For
on this
fun.
enclosure?
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. And I can only run it on my laptop. It's like, God damn it. I don't know what I'm doing, but
Because it was the new shiny, Jason. That's
Yeah,
why.
I
It
guess
was
so.
the new shiny.
I guess
I have the
so.
same problem sometimes.
It's fun though.
I have to get the new shiny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have to
so
get
Keeps
the
you
new shiny.
busy, right? Gives you something to do.
Yeah, it gives me
like-
something to do.
It's
Like
like a hobby.
I
Yeah.
did scraping for
How many
so
how many
I got-
emulation machines can I have in
Yeah.
one house?
but I scraped like all the video and like metadata and like box art and shit like that. So it's got a really slick interface. So you hover over something and it'll actually play a video of the game. It's really
cool.
slick looking.
Okay, that is
but,
cool. Yeah.
So that's something that the Mister doesn't do, but so I guess that's something. I guess that's
that's
It's something.
it's cool. It's fun.
I've tried to do that with one thing, and I haven't been able to do it. So
Oh, really?
Honestly,
I just lose
the
interest
easiest thing-
eventually.
The easiest thing to do that with right now is probably if you still have a Vita, like you can break a Vita pretty easy right now. Like you
Oh, I
can
know.
literally go to
Mm.
a particular website on the browser on the Vita
Yep.
and download what you need to jailbreak the Vita, like
DL
right then and there.
And games too. Like it's like
Yeah, and games too.
And
Like,
the DLC is all just in a big fucking list. And you
Yeah.
just select it and it downloads. It's nuts.
and they have they created you know the game cards. There's a game card that you can fit 2 SD cards into,
Mhm.
and you can load everything on that. You can actually get the Vita to load that instead and pull everything off of it.
Yeah, I've got mine
So
jailbroken.
We do not
Yeah, I
promote
haven't-
or endorse pirating of video games.
that's right. I haven't done that yet.
Mine
Ooh,
plays
you got it
the,
handy. Look at that.
plays the God Eater theme.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Don't play
my
it too
spare
long.
time.
We don't have the rights for that.
Right.
That's right. What do you get? Like 3-4 seconds, something like that.
But then I've also got
Um,
this fucking Retroid thing as well. Like,
Well, that's
Nice.
nice.
God damn it. I need to stop.
how many emulation machines do you have?
You have too many
Within-
things, Jason.
I have like 4
There's
within
at least 4. I was going to say you got at least 4, like in arm's reach right
in
now.
arm's reach, yeah, and then probably a couple more down there. So I
Okay.
don't know what I'm. Jesus Christ! Somebody stop me,
No,
Chris.
it's your hobby, dude. If it's your hobby, it's your hobby.
Tell me what's going on. Give me something good.
Well, I mean, first of all, I appreciate you guys being understanding about yesterday. Yesterday was just this was a rough week, and it was really a good week that just had one really big shit bomb that hit, and just ruined everything. Corporate America sucks. Just so you know,
It does indeed. It does indeed. How's Kitty?
Kitty is on meds.
Yep.
Thank you for asking about that. Ahsoka is currently on meds. I have not seen her have another seizure.
Seize or no? Okay.
So that doesn't mean she hasn't, because there are times when she's not an eye shot, but I have not seen her, and I have not seen any remnants of any seizures.
Cool.
So that's really good news.
Yes.
The vet said the hope is that that we get it down to at most once a month. And, if we can, he said, if we can do that, she's still going to have a pretty normal life overall. I'll tell you what, man, it was rough watching that. It's hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. All of her blood work came through clear, and I was actually hoping something would come back, like something viral or something, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So the next step is like we're medicating her, and if this doesn't work, we have to bring her to a neurologist.
Yeah.
And so it's all a thing. But
Woof.
yeah,
Yeah.
Z-Ace actually reached out to me, and he and I were talking about it too. So he was giving me some information, and we had a good conversation about it. But
He's a good dude.
so I appreciate that from him. But yeah, all right, let's get past the crap stuff. Let's talk about games. Jason,
Okay.
you had the most. Let's do the thing.
I do, don't I? Oh man, yeah, I played a little bit of a lot of things. Starting off with Immortals of Aveum.
Okay.
Oh, what's
Now,
that?
we talked about that last night to length, but
Yeah.
these guys weren't here for that.
Yeah,
So
that's
tell them
true.
how great it is.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it's got the most generic-looking protagonist I've ever seen. Like he looks more generic than I do with my blank cap and shit. Which is not a good start. Like there's nothing that's really standing out about this game. If you're not familiar with it, it's the first person like shooter essentially with magic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
that's
Colorful magic.
yeah, lots of colorful magic, which actually they give you like an abilities. Do you know what that is? Like they give you all your abilities all at once, like in the early part of the game. They
Then
tease
take it
all
away.
that shit
Take it
and then
away.
take it away. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
so
there's a
Symphony of the Night. You walk in with like all the
Oh,
beefed up shit, and then they take it away.
abilities.
yep.
I get it.
Abilities. Yeah,
That's
they
not
tease
I
you
mine.
with
get
it
it.
all.
That's a Vinny
Yeah.
Caravella
Gotcha.
Oh, is
joint.
it? Okay,
I
okay.
get it.
Oh,
But yeah, and they
It's
give you
good.
all these
That's
powers, and you start
not bad, I guess.
flinging spells, but it's just like this big, just fucking messy color splash, and you don't know what's going on, what's happening. It's just not cohesive. It doesn't feel good. It could really use some auto aim, or some aim assist or something like that. You have to reload your goddamn hand. Why do you have
What?
to reload your hand? I don't
They have to have some
understand.
kind of mechanic, man.
How does
Can't just
that?
like
What?
I suppose.
Yeah, this was developed by a bunch of people from ex Sledgehammer Games
Oh,
who
really?
worked on Call of Duties.
Call of Duty, yeah.
Yeah,
There we
so
go.
they wanted to create like a Call of Duty experience, but one of the reviews I did read on it stated that it still does try to act like you have a gun in your hand.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised when you said that comment about like how you have to
You have to
still kind of
reload.
reload your magic, which is
Are
weird.
you walking around on the screen like this,
Pretty
like with your
much,
hand
yeah.
down? It's like
Finger guns.
Your hand's kind of out like this, and then you go pew 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 pew.
ah, pew pew pew.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
when this came when trailers started dropping for this, my interest was peaked somewhat, but like I never felt like once I got to have this game.
Yep.
There was something about it that just didn't like. I don't know if it felt like a little too fast and twitchy and arena shootery, which is kind of not the first person shooter genre that I'm really into. So I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't initially take to the game. And there was, since I had nothing to play, when the game dropped, I was like, do I impulse buy it? What do I
Mhm.
do? And I saw some reviews drop, and I'm like, okay, good. Let's not jump
Yeah.
on this.
That was
But,
actually high on the list for me. I was gonna get that. I was planning on getting that possibly day one.
mhm.
And I saw the reviews. I'm like, yeah, no, I can wait on that one. Like, I haven't seen all bad stuff though. I've seen some people say it's good for it's a good 7 video game. It's just not gonna blow your
Okay.
mind.
I could maybe see
So-
that, but I mean, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with a cocky, quipping, son of a bitch, the
Oh,
entire
I
time.
don't,
So
I
How-
don't mind that.
Protagonist aside, how's like the campaign, the story? Is that decent? Does that look good?
it's a little bit like soldiery rah 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 in the beginning, and then
Hmm.
you suddenly lose like your 3 or 4 like closest family members,
Mhm.
and there's no emotional like outbreak from that whatsoever. You just like turn into a soldier after that, and
Mm.
it's interspecced with like they've got this weird like late title card, and it looks like a TV show opening. It's all these slow mo like swinging a sword or shooting magic and shit like that. And it's just
Kind of like a True Detective intro. type
kind of
very, very moody.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't fit, and it took me out of it. But no, I didn't play much of it, and I don't plan on playing any more of it. Unfortunately, I guess. I don't know. So
Fair enough.
but there's good stuff. There's Armor Core 6.
That is good.
That is
Tell me
pretty
about
good.
Armor Core. I see you guys talking about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's certainly less clunky than some of the other Armored Core games, I think.
Yeah.
It feels like you're ice skating. It's kind of elegant and in its own way. It takes a little while to get a hold of the controls, I guess. But once you get there, you're just kind of you're zooming in, you're dodging left and right, and you're doing boost dodges and shit, and it feels and it looks really really cool.
Mhm.
And just piloting a big mech like that is super satisfying.
Yeah,
in
it's
and of
great.
itself. That's super fun.
They kept it armored core. That's the one thing
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed. Like they kept it armored core, but you can still feel in the controls that From Software tightness, like that Souls based, like that tight gameplay.
Mhm.
And I played a couple of Armored Cores in the past, and this does immediately feel better. Now, some of that could be because this is a newer console generation, just technology is better. Because I think the last time I played one was the one on PS3 or one of them on PS3. So it's been a minute. But yeah, I'm enjoying it immensely personally. Like I had an issue at first. I had a rage quit moment. It was a rage
Yep.
quit moment 25 minutes after I bought the game.
Whoops.
I don't know. I don't think I was just in my right mindset, but could have been.
I thought I was gonna have to meet Travis at Panda Express and buy the game from him.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened before for sure. The tutorial level boss is actually a pretty impressive difficulty spike compared to anything else that you come across. Like everything that you come across takes like 2 hits to die.
Yeah.
And then you come across this boss, and if you're using ballistics or missiles, you're not going to beat this boss. There's only one way to beat this boss, and I didn't realize it until I jumped online this morning and was like, okay, let's give this boss a shot. And I tried a completely different tactic and one shot him. Like it wasn't even difficult.
Yeah, it's just you gotta melee that son of a bitch. So.
Yeah, that's basically it. I know what the problem was. They teach you very, very briefly, hey, if you hit L3, you'll boost straight forward.
Mhm.
Okay, great. You can traverse faster. Awesome. What they don't tell you is once you boost, you can aim up, you can aim left, aim right, and you can actually like start to fly around, with full total control.
Feels so good too.
And
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it does feel really, really good, especially when you upgrade your generators and your energy
boosting, yeah.
recharge it's a lot better. But yeah, once I learned that I can actually boost straight into the air, straight towards the enemy, and just stay on them and melee, melee, melee. I mean, it was less than 60 seconds the boss was down, and I must have fought him 6-7 times last night before I turned off my PlayStation. Was like, I'm going to sleep. I'm done. So,
I definitely
but yeah,
felt that
it's
like the first time I fought him. You mentioned it in Discord. It's like it
Mhm.
felt like you were supposed to lose to this boss. Like a
right.
Traditional Souls.
Yeah.
Were
With it
you?
being
No,
no,
No?
you're
no,
supposed to beat
Okay.
him.
it was a shock because like I saw how little damage I was doing and how much damage he was doing, and it got to the point when I was down to my last. Oh no, when I used my last health potion or whatever you want to call it. um, I was just like, I know what we're doing here. Let's just continue the story. And I just kind of like just bullshitted around until he killed me. And then it said mission failed,
Yep.
restart from checkpoint. And I'm like, oh, well, this is a FromSoft game. This is not a Souls game for sure. But there's a lot more Souls in this, honestly. I mean, than I expected, and it's mainly in the controls and in the combat, especially with that melee. It just there is some semblance of experience that they gained and put it into the the armored core play style.
Yeah.
It's really good. My nitpick I mean, people who know me will not be surprised by this. Like, I just wish they took more time and developed like a better story. Like the whole Armored Core Ace Combat style of, okay, we're going to give you little mission briefings in
Yeah.
between each mission.
That's all you're gonna get in this game.
Yeah, I know that's all we're gonna get. It's all about gameplay here, and I'm here for that. My expectations were set there. I knew it wasn't gonna be great narratively, but I just don't like it. It's such an archaic PS2 way to tell a story. Like you're being introduced to all these different mission givers
And
and
factions and
their
such.
their in their factions and their lackeys, and I have zero connection to it.
Yeah.
Like zero connection whatsoever. I kind of wish, even though we're so damn like inundated with open worlds nowadays, I kind of wish it was more of an open world and you would just get transmitted these missions like live in the world versus just essentially being given menus, shops, and like PowerPoint presentations describing what the hell's going on. And those aren't even really impressive. They have the opportunity to at least be appealing to watch. And I haven't, I'm skipping it halfway through. And I'm the story guy. Like I couldn't care less. So I wish that was better. I wish I had a protagonist that, one, had a face, and two, just was giving me a little bit more something to work with in terms of the story.
Sure.
Like that
I
stuff's
think
not
that
working for me, but it's not what we're here for, right? Like we know what we're
I
getting
guess.
into.
Right. And I think that's a pretty common gripe about the game. I think across the board is, people
Mhm.
were not necessarily expecting more, but just they could have used a little bit more narration, I guess,
Yeah,
narrative. Um
yeah. Like
that's
I
kind of
want
a
to I
bummer.
want to know what's going on in the world. Yeah, it is a bummer. So
Yeah.
But otherwise, like the gameplay's great. Like I'm really digging it. Yeah.
It's tough as balls, but they're taking concessions where they can and making it a little bit more forgiving than previous Armored Core games in that you're able to like sell back parts for as much as you paid for them.
Yeah, there's no
So
diminishing
they've really
returns. That's good.
That's
yeah
interesting.
yeah. So
Mhm.
they really encourage you
So there's no okay.
swapping
So
out
they
different
really
parts.
want you to upgrade anytime you have the opportunity, essentially.
Not necessarily upgrade, but just like try different loadouts because
Mhm.
bosses
Gotcha.
are gonna, Travis mentioned that, there was one specific way to fight, that helicopter boss, and that's
Mhm.
with a melee, attack. Um, and there's gonna be other bosses down the road where you should probably use the quadruped, because you can hover in air and shit like that. So, uh, but yeah, they make it easy for you to go back and just swap parts out. So that's
How
that's that's very forgiving of them.
how far are you in? How many missions,
Just about
give or take?
5 missions in, I
Have
think.
you done like the first major boss is a mission where it's like an assault and there's a major boss at the end? Have you done that one yet?
Maybe not. No, I don't think
Maybe
so.
not. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of the smaller missions,
Mhm.
like in between the bigger battles,
Yeah, I'm trying to get into
and
mine.
yeah, exactly, yeah, because you can get the full like you can just replay missions and however much money you earned in that the first go, like you're gonna get that same amount back. So like farming money seems like it's not gonna be a problem. Like the items are expensive as hell, but it
Yeah.
seems like you just got to put in a little work and you'll get the money. Um, but there's also kind of like a hunt board.
Yeah, the hunt log or something like
Yeah,
that.
the
Yep.
hunt log. Yeah, and the mission select screen when you go and like replay a mission, it'll tell you if you met that enemy or you haven't met that enemy, and those fights are fun as hell.
They
I
seem
went
like it.
back and I went back and found all 3 of them that I missed, and they are fun. I really like those fights. They give you a taste of what those big boss battles are going to be like in terms of like you need to approach this with the right loadout
Right.
because like one enemy may be like really efficient of jumping across the battleground and slashing you with a melee. So you don't want melee in that situation because he's fast. He's like you want to make sure you can track him. You want to make sure that you're. I haven't messed with the lock on very much. I've been hearing that the lock on's a
That's it's
little weird.
powerful. I don't know how weird
Yeah.
it is. I think it's really, really good,
I
actually,
haven't
yeah.
used it quite yet. I haven't
Okay.
used it quite yet. I've been doing like that manual aim assist that's been given to you at first.
Okay.
I have not clicked the R3 button to mess with the lock on, but it
I
seems
used
like
that right away with the first
really
boss. Yeah, seriously. You lock on and you L3
maybe that
in
would
and you
maybe that would have
just
helped me.
mess them up. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? What else? Because I've only played like three,
No, you
four
done, Jason?
hours.
Oh wait, you're talking still Warzone. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. So I found myself like tinkering a lot. Like you said, like when I discovered that like you can sell things for what you paid for it,
Yeah.
I started tinkering a little bit and I'm still bipedal. I don't have any like quadrileg options yet, but I wanted to see like how much of a glass cannon can I possibly be. So
Mhm.
I found the most powerful weapons that I could possibly afford, and I equipped 2 bazookas, and that the customization is really, really great. So, because there are a lot of options, because you have weapons on in your hands, and you have weapons on your shoulders, and you can mix and match anything you want, and make kind of like mess around with your build. So I put 2 bazookas on each of my
Oh, fuck
hands,
yeah.
and then I have one. I didn't have the weight for
2 on each, so you have 4?
no, I'm sorry. I have
1 in each
2
hand. Okay,
bazookas, 1
cool.
in each
Okay.
hand, and then I didn't have the weight, the encumbrance to carry 2 rocket launchers, so I just have 1 rocket launcher and I have 1 open space on my left, and it's just like and when you hold the lock on button, you can lock on to multiple enemies for your missiles, and then I'm just going one by one, just like bazooking people. Like it works close range. You can snipe people with bazookas,
Mhm.
and I've been tearing through these missions
Nice.
with the double bazooka build, and that's generally not a build that I would be attracted to,
Mhm.
but the way the system's set up, it opened me up to just trying different things without any risk of penalty, which I am
Yeah, I
greatly,
love
greatly
that.
appreciative of.
It's like,
It makes it
have you tried blowing shit up?
well, it's
That's
cool because you can it gives you an option like, do you want to fail, get pissed, and then come back later? Or do you want to fail, get pissed, and then with the system they have in place, be inspired to,
Try something new.
go and change your parts around and then
Mhm.
jump into that fight again. I can see that happening a lot.
Sure.
The need that you're bringing the wrong build here and you need to try something else. And now that I'm having some early success with toying around with builds that I otherwise wouldn't mess with, I'm kind of intrigued by the future of this game and what I can mess with. So
Yeah, I'm anxious to
It's
see where
definitely-
like PvP goes. Also, you're able to download other mechs that people create.
Yeah.
So I really want to see what people create.
hmm
And then just cheese that shit and download their stuff. And
the
it's
editor's
mine.
nice too. I was actually
Yeah.
pretty impressed. It's not as in depth, but very very similar editing tools that you would see in like the WWE games where like they have like the tattoo maker where you can kind of like they give
Oh,
you
sure.
a plethora of things. Now you can't like upload images, I don't believe. Like you can in WWE, but they give you enough tools where you can kind of shape shift and mess things around and kind of make almost anything that you can want.
You can make a
I
dick
saw
if you
s-
want. You can make a dick.
You can make a dick. You can make a dick. Um, I saw somebody with a bright pink
It's how you
mech.
judge quality in a game. Can you make a
Can you make a
dick?
dick?
Yeah. They
That's why Tears of the Kingdom is so popular.
there is I saw somebody with a bright pink mech, and on the head of the mech somehow they had Kirby's face on the mech. So if they made that in the game with the tools that are there, impressive, because it was Kirby. So that's what made me think, can you like scan stuff in here? Because like how the hell did he get Kirby's face on this mech? So the guy's either really creative or there's something that I don't know that you can upload images into the game, but it was
Right.
pretty fun. So I'm with you. I think there's going to be some really fun creations to sift through.
I hope I can sit through it because this game is hard as balls. We'll see. I don't know.
You need lots of bazookas.
Yeah,
Double
apparently.
bazookas.
Double bazookas.
You need lots of bazookas.
I'll try that.
Do it. It's fun.
Speaking of bazookas and bombs, there's a game called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
I've heard people talking about this. Please tell me what this is.
You guys remember Lethal League at all?
Oh, I
Yes.
do. Yeah.
It
Team
sounds
Reptile,
familiar.
the cel-shaded characters.
Mhm.
I remember once upon a time, I'm like, you know what they should do? They should make a jet set radio. And they fucking did. They went.
That's what this is?
That is it is exactly that.
Oh,
it is
fuck.
essentially
I'm going to look this up right now. God
yeah,
damn
please
you.
watch a trailer. It'll tell you everything you need to know, essentially. And if you listen to it, you hear everything you need to hear. Because the soundtrack's really good too. But yeah, visuals and aesthetic wise, like they nailed it.
Nice.
Like they just straight up made a fucking sequel to Jet Set. It's crazy.
Wow, this is totally Jet Set Radio.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, skateboards too, not just rollerblades. And bikes.
Mhm.
Nice.
And bikes, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But I played like an hour of it so far, and I actually really dig it. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Jet Set series.
I love the Jet. Add to wish list. Yes.
The first one
please,
doesn't
thank
hold
you.
up at all.
Yeah, like I can't go back and play those, but this one I've been actually enjoying quite a bit. So
Nice.
yeah, go check that out, please. And then yeah, just Baldur's Gate, I guess. They came out with a patch that fixed like thousands of different things, including my helmet of smiting, thank God. The helmet,
I don't
the helmet sat behind my head, just kind of fucking hovering there. For,
Yeah.
I never
the past
noticed
2
that
weeks.
because I just turned the helmets off anyway.
Oh,
'cause
really?
I want to see the faces of the characters.
I should have done that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you can go into your inventory and do it.
It,
So-
it took me out
But
of the,
I'd have that on my paladin as well, the helmet of smiting. It's really good.
That
It is
that
really good.
patch, I'm glad that patch fixed the helmet of smiting, but I heard that patch also broke some things by looking on Twitter.
Mhm.
And
Poor
our
Nabashin. Yeah.
friend of the show, Nabashin, people who don't know
Oh my
Nabashin,
god. Yeah.
Nabashin's a black man,
Mhm.
and he made a black character, as one would, and his character turned white after the patch.
Yep.
It did.
Wait, like straight. I saw him
Straight
say
up.
the color was different. I didn't look at the picture though. Like it
Yeah.
it
Oh,
turned
yeah.
him white.
It is
It's
a
a
white
white
dude
man.
now.
Shit.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Yep. That's
I
not
mean-
Come
good.
on, Larian. You've been doing so well. What's going on?
He looks tan, I guess, but
He's
He looks like he's
sun-kissed.
hung out in Florida for a bit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
sun-kissed. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So hopefully that gets fixed because he's had not great luck with games that are universally loved by people. Like I'll never forget the glitches that he could never get
Spider-Man.
fixed with Spider-Man. It was
Yeah.
absurd, and I never saw it anywhere else on the internet except on his feed, and it ruined his experience for Spider-Man. So that hurts.
I wonder
So
if
hopefully
they
that
fix the Warlock. There's one particular thing about Warlock I'm afraid they're going to take away. So we'll see.
No.
Well, I'm excited to hear more Baldur's Gate talk. So, updates. Where are you guys at since the
Oh my
last time we
God.
all spoke?
Do you really want to get me
in
started?
Act 2. Yeah, I did the point of no return in Act 1. I'm in the
Which way did you go? Did you go up or down?
down.
Okay.
So I'm in like the Misty Towers, I think it's called right now,
Yep.
and then about to
Yep.
go into a dungeon that's connected to there.
How many
yeah.
hours are you in?
It says 40, but
Okay.
it might be more, it might be less. I can't tell.
I'm at 60 hours and I'm still in Act 1.
Act 1.
Like,
Jesus
I am
Christ.
just doing everything. Like, I cannot stop. I have a problem, guys. I have a problem.
You don't have a
Like-
problem. You have good taste.
So, there's what I was asking Jason, like, did you go up or down? There's two different paths essentially to leave Act 1 and go to Act 2. And, one of them is I don't feel like it's a spoiler. A lot of people already know you do this, but you go to the Underdark. And I went to the Underdark. I did everything you could do in the Underdark. And then I left and I went back and I went the other way. I'm just doing everything.
So is
I just
Act
can't
2
stop.
is Act 2 determinant on your decision? Like if you choose
No.
if you okay, so it all goes to the same place?
Yeah, the towers is the
Hmm.
goal, and there's two different ways to get there, and they give
Okay.
you,
Gotcha.
they tell you can do this. You can go to the Underdark, or you can go through the Mountain Pass, and that's pretty
Okay.
much how they do that. But it kind of scared me a little bit because when you first go to enter the Mountain Pass, it says you're about to advance the game, and I thought it was gonna make it so I couldn't come back, but it doesn't. It's you can go into the Mountain Pass and come back. Same is true about the Underdark, but the Underdark I didn't get that warning when I went to the Underdark.
Yeah.
But I can't stop playing. I'm having so much fun. I'm level 7 and I'm still in Act 1.
I'm still flabbergasted by seeing these instances in which I know that I could have done something differently and got a completely different outcome. Like wow. It's blowing my mind a little bit.
I'm so hyped,
pretty
man. I'm
crazy.
so goddamn hyped.
Did you do the Forge?
Do the Forge? Yes, I did. I did everything in the Forge.
Nice. Okay, so did you get your 2 pieces of equipment in the Forge?
I think so.
Okay,
so.
good.
The one's a robe.
Oh, no.
Oh, then I got
So
something
in the
else.
Forge, so in the Forge, they give you you can find, there's a big forge in the Underdark.
Yep.
And you can find molds, but they only give you essentially 2 pieces of the metal that you need to create.
I've been holding on to all the metal.
Oh, well, no. So the you can find pieces of mithril.
Okay, yeah.
So you find 2 pieces of mithril and you use them in the big forge in the Underdark.
I didn't do that. I've
Oh,
got the
damn it,
mithril.
dude.
God damn. Wow.
Okay.
I got some other cool
Yeah,
shit,
that's what
though.
that's for. You use the mithril with the molds in the forge, and there's you can make equipment. There's
back.
a quest line that ends there too.
I'm going back.
You're going back. How far into Act 2 are you? Like, it's worth going back if you're not that far.
There's a fast travel there.
Can you fast travel back?
Totally. Well, I would assume so. I guess we'll find
Give
out.
it a shot.
Yeah.
Give it a shot, because as long as you have the stuff, as long as you have the molds and the mithril, you should be able to go and forge the equipment.
Damn. Okay.
So, but yeah, there's 3 weapons and 3 armor pieces, and you get to choose 2 things, and that's it.
Okay.
So,
as much as the FOMO is real for this game, I am so happy that a month is going to pass, so there's going to be plenty of guides
Yes, this is I don't feel like you should be ashamed of using a guide on a game like this. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I definitely put this in like that same bracket as Elden Ring. Like there's just
Mhm.
so much and it's
See,
so easy to miss things.
and
I
that's the thing.
TPK'd today. I TPK'd. So there's one oh I'm sorry. TPK is total party kill. So my party got wiped out today.
Whoops.
And it was I basically I pissed off a god and she said, I wish you would end, and then it basically said game over. I'm like, well fuck, reload. But like shit like that could just happen. Like if you're in a conversation and you say the wrong thing, you might die. And you know, it's just
Chris,
it's really impressive when I do
Chris,
everything. Yeah.
if Ghostbusters has taught you anything,
Yeah.
when a demonic being asks if you are a god, the answer is yes.
Oh, she didn't ask me
Always.
that. She asked me if she wanted me to give her something. I said no.
Read
Should-
between the
should have
lines,
said
Ricky
no.
O. Read between the lines.
It was a joke. It was a callback to
It was a callback to Ghostbusters.
I got it,
Anyway,
Travis.
I
thanks.
know.
Appreciate it. Good
I'm
looking out.
aware of what Ghostbusters is. I've seen it a million times. But yeah, and lots of loot to find, and I mean, I don't know what else we can say about this.
Yeah,
game.
the thing I brought up about the guides and how glad I am that that's going to be available is because like, and you touched on it, Chris. Like I don't mind like in Mass Effect, you make a decision and it kind of like blocks you out of seeing something because you have to own up to a decision. But when I'm like walking past something and I
Mhm.
I miss a hole in the wall or a secret passage that leads to an awesome weapon for a bar that I would want, that's going to piss me off. I don't want to
Yeah.
miss things that way. So,
I'm playing Divinity Original Sin 2 now, and that happens a lot.
mhm.
bet.
But I like it though, like a lot, and it does give me that anxiety that I'm gonna miss out on stuff.
Mhm.
But then I do stuff that's like cool, and when I do something cool that I didn't look up, it's just so gratifying. But a lot of the loot though in
Yeah.
Divinity is random. So there
Okay.
are there's a lot of there's some places where you can get specific things, but there's also a lot of the chests you find in these like nooks and crannies. It's randomized,
Mhm.
so it's not always gonna be the same thing. But man, like there's so many things. I'm sure Baldur's Gate's the same way. It's the same developers, that I would do, and then I would always just consider like I fucked up. But you're not
Mhm.
fucking up. You're just doing something a little bit different.
Yeah,
Like
you're just doing it
Mhm.
differently.
have any of you guys played Divinity?
A little bit.
No.
Yeah.
A little bit. So like yeah, I picked it up because I was like all the hype about Baldur's Gate. And I'm like I
Mhm.
really don't like turn-based combat a lot, and I'm like I don't know. And I had some Microsoft points, or not points anymore. I had some credit on there. It's like yeah, I'll get Divinity 2, and then love it. It's great.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell in like a rate. I was just like, this is awesome. But I had to like
Yeah.
kind of tell myself, don't look up everything, because I did look up stuff at the beginning, especially because I do that with a lot of games like this just to kind of see what is possible. Because then it
Mhm.
kind of clears my mind. It's like, okay, I can try to do something like this next time, and it might work. So it kind of gets my head wrapped around the mechanics a bit. And at the beginning, you're kind of getting your party together, and I did notice like I watched one of those like things you should do like when you first starting Divinity, um, and I had forgot about a quest I was doing, and then I picked up another party member, and she's hunting somebody down, this lizard guy, and so I'm like, oh sure, join the party, whatever. She's one of the main characters, come on, whatever. And then I eventually come across the lizard guy, and the lizard guy realized, oh wait, this is the guy who killed, or no, who stole, who looks like he stole this fruit from this other guy, whatever, and I had to go get it back. So anyway, I approach him. He's sleeping, and then the girl, she's my rogue elf. She goes, "Hey, I have some business to take care of with this guy. Do you mind if I talk to him first?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What's the worst that
Oh
can
no.
happen?" He
Oh
fucking
no.
killed him in his sleep. I was like, "Oh my god."
did you get the side mission failed?
Oh my god.
No, I didn't, because luckily when I
Okay.
looted his body,
It
not
was
only did
there.
I get all of his magic scrolls, the thing I had to get was there. So that was
Okay.
kind of cool.
There you
And
go.
then I looked up, I'm like, well, now I need to see what were the. And there's so many ways the quests that to get the stolen stuff back you could do, and I was like, that's fucking nuts. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is, and now I'm looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3 more than like I ever have. But I'm also kind of happy to wait because of Starfield, and I'm not confident that the console version is going to be patched up to par to the PC when it launch.
Yep.
At least I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be. So
Wait, for
I'm-
Starfield or BG3?
for BG3,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be patched up as nicely, and I think it might have some issues, some rumblings. But
Oh, it'll have
it's
issues for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, but sorry, my cat's screaming over there. So they're saying, and I'm actually having fun with Divinity too, so I really don't mind. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna play it for a couple days, like, yep, I want Baldur's Gate. And dude, I bought it again on Switch when I was in New York.
Mm.
I brought my Switch, totally intended to finish up Zelda or play something else I haven't started.
And ended up buying Divinity 2 instead.
All I could think about was Divinity, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like, there's no way this Switch version's gonna be good. So I started looking reviews on it, and everyone's like, yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a worse resolution, obviously, and it's got some frame hiccups here and there, but it's a turn-based game, so I don't really frame rates, whatever. And I downloaded it, and I was like, holy shit. And I ended up playing probably about 15 hours probably on my trip, because
Damn.
I would
Now,
always be
is it cross save?
not between Switch and
Okay, yeah, I was gonna
and
say that would be
Xbox, only from
that would
Switch
be-
on PC. Yeah,
Okay.
so I started a brand new game, totally did things differently. It was great. It was so cool. And yeah, I played it every morning because I was usually the first one up. I'd play it for like an hour and a half or so, and then usually before going to bed. But yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait for Baldur's
Nice.
Gate. So yeah,
Awesome.
Good shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't feel like there's anything else I can say about it. There's just so much to it, and I do want to do like Indus Nights where we do like I don't care what day it is, but
hmm
let's figure out a day and let's just like a week or two after you guys get into it, like let's put together a night
yeah, I'd want to
where
have
we-
my main playthrough a bit ahead.
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
do a co-op
you
thing.
you want to get used to playing the game and get an idea of the things you're doing, stuff like that. So
hmm
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
oh, what am I gonna roll? What am I gonna roll? Shit.
I will probably roll my little gnome fighter again because we only used her the one time. So,
Mm,
but you guys got to let me get that sword on the ship, man.
we'll try. We will try to get that son of a bitch. We didn't do it
Yeah,
before.
I think
The
I saw
opening-
something about that on a YouTube video today. Is it like a really
Yeah.
overpowerful sword?
In
sword you can get
the
early?
opening area, in the opening sequence, there is a fight at the end where an Illithid is fighting a devil, and the devil has this like a flaming greatsword. And if you can get it from him, if you can either kill him or if you can get him to drop it, then you can pick it up, and it's like it would still be the strongest sword that I had.
Mhm.
Like it would be between that and the one that Lae'zel is currently using, and the one so Lae'zel is the fighter. The one that my fighter's currently using, it's only powerful for her because it's a Githyanki greatsword, and if a Githyanki's using it, she gets like bonus damage. This sword is like it's a the damage is 2d6 plus 1d4 fire damage, and that's it would still be my best sword because anybody that uses a great sword could use it. So my paladin could carry it around. Like that Githyanki sword, if my paladin uses it, I wouldn't get the bonus damage. But yeah, it's in the opening sequence, and when Jason and I played our co-op attempt, I was like, all right, let's see if we can get the sword. And the Illithid and the devil fight each other. So the devil doesn't really attack you, but he's really hard to hit because he's like level 4 or 5 and you're level 1. And I think we had both the Illithid and the devil were at like
We did some
less
damage.
than they were at like 12, 13 hit points. And then like 2 or 3 more devils came in, and one of them hit me, and Jason was like, nope, we're out of here. And he went and hit the wire to basically end the sequence. And I was like, no, don't. And that was too late. So
It was too late. I was concerned for your safety.
I know, but only one person has to make it. So even if I died, you could have just done the thing, and it would have been fine.
I know. I just didn't want you to die on me. God damn it.
I appreciate that, buddy. I appreciate that.
No man left behind.
No man left behind. Good stuff. All right, what else?
That's all I've been playing, man. That's a lot.
Well, we've covered mine too, because all I've been playing is Baldur's Gate, guys. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's fair.
So, Travis.
Yeah, the only other thing that I was playing is oldie but goodie, but played a little Fall Guys with our buddy Crayman, friend of the show there. And
dude, Cray's a fucking shark at that game.
That dude
like
is
he is
good.
pro. He's really good at that game.
He's really good. Yeah, we played doubles. It was just him and I, and we played duos all night and just won constantly. So all because of him.
It's fun.
He was the ringer.
I can last 2 or 3 rounds. I'll make a couple of finals throughout the night, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's he was carrying the weight. But I dig it. Like anybody listening or viewing, if you guys want to play some Fall Guys, if you haven't played Fall Guys, fuck off.
Absolutely,
you need to come
play Fall Guys. Fall Guys is so much fun.
Yeah,
it is so much fun.
It's fun playing because, like, when you're playing by yourself, you can have a good time for a little bit because it's you versus everybody else, and you lose,
but you get in party chat with a bunch of people and you start playing, and that's where it's at, man.
And that's great. It's awesome. It's a good fun experience. Everybody's laughing, having a good time. But the way the game itself has like the duos and the 4-man squad set up, it's all whether or not you qualify or not, it's all by a law of averages. So like you have last place, which will get 0 points, and you have first place that'll get 80 points. And it's basically as everybody on your squad finishes, it's an accumulation of your placing points.
Your total.
And like if you have 10 teams.
So you still need to pull your weight even if you have a ringer.
You still have to pull your weight. It's very similar to bowling. Like if someone has a bad round, it's okay. We had someone finish second, so we have a little bit of a handicap there. So it's really fun how they have that built out. And I would love to get a 4-man squad up in here and have some fun. That'd be good. But that AC6, and that's been the gaming week. It's officially over. The having no games to talk about, which has been my case for the past 3 weeks. It is over from here on out.
Only talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
that's
from
okay.
Here on out.
I've been in the same boat too. Like the last 3 weeks have been all Baldur's Gate, man. So
yeah, but from here on out, it's going to be a veritable avalanche. It's going to get.
I think my next game is going to be Spider-Man. Like Baldur's Gate is going to make me skip Starfield for now, and then I'll come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
I'm hyped for Starfield too. There's been a lot of good stuff on Starfield lately, and I really want. I'm at the point where like I don't know if I want to hold off on Baldur's for Starfield because Starfield's that gameplay that I know I'm gonna dig. Like I know that's gonna be my jam. Whereas Baldur's Gate, I know it's gonna be great, but there's a steep learning curve that comes with that, and I feel that steep learning curve would be great when there's nothing else to play. But
it won't be as bad because you have because you're jumping in a month late and you have all those guys like you said. You have other people that have played it that you can ask questions.
True. Some of the guides for Divinity have been key.
Yeah,
just understanding basic shit like that, even to just know what you can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Very Jeff, cool. What about you?
That's it.
Just pretty much all Divinity all the time. That's pretty much it. I dabbled in some Quake 2 remaster that came out last week, I think.
On what?
It's on everything, but it's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass. So I don't know how much it is. I'm assuming it's probably like $20, $30. I have no idea. But I never played Quake 2. I was surprised at how good it is. It's very good for what it is. Yeah, I only played 1 and 3, so Arena. So I was new to it. And I was like, this looks good. It looks good for what it is. And then they have updated like a bunch of the lighting and stuff and the textures. But I didn't realize how much better they made it look until I looked up. Like I saw like comparison shit, and I was like, oh wow, okay, gotcha. Doesn't look next gen or anything. Definitely looks like an old ass game, but it looks like a good old ass game.
I like those old games from a few generations ago, but they give it a nice little coat of performance polish, and they actually look really good in their own right.
Mhm.
I dig it when
Very sharp.
remasters like that come out. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Hmm. Yeah, but nope, just Divinity. I'm just wait until September 1st or whatever, August, because I did pre-order on PS5 the deluxe
Mhm.
edition or whatever. So I think there's a few days early access, and then
Yeah, you get early access with it.
Yeah.
I bought the upgrade. I was telling Jason yesterday I bought the upgrade to Starfield. So I didn't buy Starfield. I bought the upgrade, which comes with the 1 week early access, the first DLC expansion whenever that's released, and the thing that sold me was the Steelbook. So,
That'll do
so
it.
I'm gonna have a Steelbook with no game. So,
Yeah,
whatever.
you and your steelbook. It's like digital game with a steelbook. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. So, but my goal is to hold out on Baldur's Gate till at least the 6th, the official release date.
Release?
But we'll
Okay.
see. Yeah, but
I
that's it.
have not ordered my PS5 version yet, but I know I'm going to. So.
Mhm. Oh, I'm almost done with Planet of Lana, but I'll talk about that when I actually beat it.
Okay.
That's it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, gents. Well,
You guys
that's
want to talk about
distractions.
news?
Yeah, what do we got for news?
We got there's a bunch of news. So Microsoft and the CMA, we know they've been kind of tied up in things for a while for their acquisition, and one of the big things that the CMA was kind of holding out on was the cloud aspect of it and Activision games. So Sony, Microsoft has actually sold the rights to Ubisoft for Activision games to be published on cloud services in the UK. So that's kind of gonna circumvent that worry that the CMA had. So what does that mean? You're all asking. It doesn't mean much here, but in the UK it means that Ubisoft will doing all the publishing for the cloud versions of Activision games,
Hmm.
not
Oh,
the native
interesting.
ones.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're going to download something that's to your Xbox, your PlayStation, or whatever, that'll still be Microsoft published, but cloud services will be Ubisoft.
Weird.
Hiccups that, yeah, it is kind of weird. I kind well, we kind of talked about this a while ago that would be a thing that they would go to. I didn't think they'd go to Ubisoft though. I thought they'd go to like a smaller
Sure.
publisher or something like that. But yeah, Ubisoft's the one. So what this does mean though is any game that Microsoft wants to make exclusive and put on Game Pass has to go on cloud streaming in the UK for anything that Ubisoft wants to put it on. The downside is it's streaming. So
Gotcha.
It's
Yeah.
really weird.
yeah, because if Microsoft were to say no, we're not going to do this, then the UK can be like, hey, you can't sell your products here. So they just can't sell anything in the UK.
Huh.
Or they can't put games from Activision Blizzard on Game Pass there, which then screws over all the Game Pass subscribers in the
Yeah.
UK. So they got to be like, well, it's either this or nothing. So that's the route they've taken, and now they just got to wait and see what the CMA says. That is weird, though. It's rare you hear something like that happen. Like, I guess it does happen a lot, actually. There's been some games that like Sony or somebody publishes in Japan, but then someone else does here. But
Oh, sure. Yeah.
yeah, I guess it happens kind of all the time. Just cloud streaming is just weird.
That's
just
the
just
weird
that
part.
aspect.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess the reason I feel like it's weird is based on what you're saying, and correct me if I get this wrong, but it's essentially going to be out in the same territory by two different publishers, just depending on how you consume it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's weird.
If you're streaming it, it's somebody else. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yep. That is very strange.
I love to see them fight over this thing that inherently sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
They're making such a
seriously.
big deal about cloud streaming, and it at some point,
Yeah,
it
nobody
has to become
cares.
good.
It's-
At
I
some
know,
point,
I
at some
know.
point, technology is going to reach a level where it's good, but and they want to be on the front door of that moment. But
when
it's
everybody has
just
gigabit internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be for a
even
while.
then, gigabit internet's not going to
Yeah.
carry it very well. Yeah, it's just funny to see them fight over something that just no one's done right yet. So
No, I think that's why I think Microsoft's just like they don't get like, okay, fine, we'll sell the rights to Ubisoft because they're gonna get like Ubisoft has to pay for the rights, they're not just giving them
Yep.
the rights. Like Ubisoft paid for it. They're like, yeah, go ahead, it's cloud streaming. No one's gonna.
it's the new
Yeah,
Blu-ray
you get
disc.
you get some extra money, and everything else stays pretty much as is. It'll just
Mhm.
make the CMA happy. But they also went and made other people happy too. So to circumvent some things, they announced during Gamescom, because that's a thing that's going on right now, or just ended. I guess it ended on
Just ended,
Sunday
yeah.
or yesterday. The reason Baldur's Gate 3 was held up was because they were having issues with the Series S version not being able to do split screen co-op properly.
Mhm.
And Microsoft has a parity clause between the two. So feature-wise, they have to launch with the same features, the Series X and Series S version. So they met up with each other at Gamescom. They came to a conclusion that Microsoft's like, yeah, you can release the Series S one without the split screen co-op. We'll worry about it later, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So Larian said that it's coming this year as well. So they didn't say when.
That's still pretty big. Like, that's awesome. You know, that
They needed to
I'm
do it. They had to
yeah,
bend the
and
rules.
it had to it something had to give, right? Like we
Yeah.
knew from day one that parity clause would probably end up biting them if they
Oh
stuck to
my
it.
God. Yeah.
So the fact that they are willing to say, okay, we get it, let's get Baldur's Gate out, like that's big.
Yeah.
And it's especially big for those that like that's the only option they've got. Like yeah, so
And
glad to hear that, because I want I like ideally everybody gets the opportunity to play this game. That's
yeah.
what I feel like needs to happen.
Baldur's Gate for everyone.
Baldur's Gate for you get Baldur's Gate and you get
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate.
And realistically, what's the numbers on the people that are gonna want to play this split screen that
Yeah,
don't
it's
already
gonna
love
be-
Baldur's Gate and probably have a PlayStation or a PC? Like, it's probably very slim.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I just don't even see that as I'd be so like Larian put out all those statistics, right? I
mhm.
would be curious to see like just a sheer number of split screen sessions they've had,
Mhm.
because I can't imagine it's a lot. You know what I mean?
No.
So just
No.
I would be really curious about that.
Yeah, and people that really into that stuff are probably older and don't necessarily do that. And kids aren't playing Baldur's Gate 3. Like young kids that are, they're like, hey, sit in front of the Switch and play some
They're not
co-op stuff
playing
with your
anything.
sister.
They're not playing Pokemon. They're not playing
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate.
exactly. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Playing
Oh,
that's
Roblox.
funny.
Little
Is
shits.
this reminds me of the whole Xbox Live Arcade fiasco, if you guys remember that, when they said that every game has to be under 50
Oh,
megabytes
right.
or something like that.
Oh
yeah,
and then Symphony of the Night came out and they
Symphony
were
of the
like,
Night,
yeah, we just
then they're
can't
like,
do
okay,
that.
fine. And then they raise it again for Street Fighter HD or
Oh
whatever
yeah,
it was.
that's right.
Then
That
they
was the
raise
other
it
game.
again for something. Then eventually they're like, fuck it, it can be whatever.
Yeah.
That's different, I guess, because it's one console. It's not one console that they said, hey, everything's going to work fine, and then be like, oh, well, except for games starting to come out now. Because this isn't going to be the first game, like, at all. Like,
I see
it's
the
gonna be more.
reasoning. I see the reasoning for like that early Xbox 360 limit, because of
Mhm.
you only got like a 20 gig hard drive. It wasn't a whole lot of space.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I kind of get the parity clause too. Like they want the S to be attractive to gamers,
Yeah.
and know that they're going to have the opportunity to play the same game.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just something's got to give. It's just
They have to. And something that people mostly forgot about, I don't see a lot of people talking, is it is holding back their first party games from having certain features on the Series X, because
yeah.
not too long ago, Halo Infinite launched, and they said close to launch that it's no longer going to have couch co-op. And Microsoft, there's no way in hell they're going to say the reason why we're not having couch co-op on the Series X is because we can't get it running on the Series S. And I would be willing to bet anything that's why. So that's why it has not been patched into the Xbox Series X. That's why it never came to the Xbox Series X, because they weren't able to get it split screen co-op on the S, and because of the parity clause. And they're never going to they will not admit that. Like, that'll maybe next generation, when something happens, they're like, oh, that's the reason why. But it has to be.
Yeah,
It's the only
I
thing that
agree
makes
with you.
sense.
Yeah,
So
you can't you can't admit that, because it goes against your complete the nucleus of your business model. You have to
Yeah.
approach it during like the post-mortem
Yep.
period. So yeah, I agree. Jeff, before we move on to the next news topic, did you see my
Yeah.
little notation in there?
I did not. Let me take a look here.
All right.
Gotcha.
Take a
Okay,
look-see.
cool. Some sad news. Charles Martinet. You know him. He does the "It's a me, Mario."
Mm-hmm.
Oh
That's such a-
no.
What? He didn't die.
Okay, good.
No, he's
No,
alive.
no. As sad as he's
Please, I can't take that this week.
no.
like-
He
Not today, please, not today.
he's stepping away from the Mario role from voicing him.
Oh
Uh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's still going to be working with Nintendo. He's going to be a Mario ambassador, so he will be traveling and stuff, doing like conventions and stuff with
Mhm.
Nintendo and stuff like that. He's just not going to do the voice. So it's been almost 30 years. The
He'll
first
do
time he was
he'll
ever
do
Mario.
the voice at the conventions for
Oh,
sure.
he
I
100%
guarantee.
will for money.
Nice.
Yes.
I saw him
Nice.
yeah,
For
at,
money.
at E3 one time. I was walking through the back halls where they have like the hot dog vendors and shit like that, and somebody recognized him, and he just started just doing quotes, just like walking through there.
Just randomly,
Yeah,
just
just
doing
randomly.
them.
Yep. Just he was loving life, and
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a lovely, lovely
Yeah.
gentleman.
Not sure why he's stepping down, but good for him. He's been doing it for a while since
I
Mario
think-
teaches typing.
I think if I'm putting on my speculation glasses for a second, like I
Mhm.
think that he is stepping down publicly, but
Mhm.
the decision was made by Nintendo. The success of the success of Mario,
You think it's gonna
of the movie, and
Mhm.
giving Mario an actual human personality, I think people took to it. I think it was a success, and I think they want to cross that over into the game. So aside from a few catchphrases, Mario really doesn't speak words and sentences.
No.
I think that's going to change personally, at least
Mm.
for like your main line, like your Galaxy 2s, Sunshines, like your
Wonder's
main
gonna
Mario
be the
titles.
first one that is not voiced by him. So
Mhm.
that's this year.
So he's not the voice in Wonder.
He's not.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
Oh,
that was
I
going
didn't
to
know
be
that either.
his last one. So I'm actually interested to hear what he sounds like.
No.
You want to hear something that blew my mind, and you guys might already know this, and I just might not have known. You know when he has like "It's a me, Mario"?
It's Sumi, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's Sumi, not it's a me, like an Italian accent. Did anyone else think that's what he was saying
I
for
will
It's
never
Sumi-
believe
almost
this.
30 years?
I will never
it's
believe
Sumi-
this.
Itsumi means super in Japan, but
Yeah.
I'm with Jason. I think it's a me. I think it's just a very
I
Yeah.
thought they
stereotypical.
confirmed it.
It's
I thought they
bullshit.
confirmed it was Itsumi. I mean, we can say it's bullshit because we don't want to believe it, but I actually think that's makes sense.
I don't wanna
Japanese
believe.
Itsumi. Yeah, I know. Blew my mind. I was like, motherfucker.
Don't make me believe it.
My childhood's finished. Not even my childhood. Oh my god. I was like, when the N64 came out, 99 or something like that. No,
95.
way before 99. What am I
95.
thinking of?
Mhm.
95. I was still fucking middle of my teens. Anyway, during Gamescom, got a little bit of some Sony news. They released the no release date, but they released the price for the PS Portal, which is that handheld device, remote device they're doing. Yeah, for $199. Speculation saying it's probably coming in November. So I have to ask you guys, who is this for?
Not us.
Gamers who have wives who want the
Not
TV.
us.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
If you don't have your own personal gaming space, I can see how this can be something on paper that's attractive. Hey, kids want to watch TV, family wants to watch TV, but you want to play a game, you can do remote play from here. My issue with this is not necessarily its general existence. My problem with it is that, okay, it's fine. It's remote play. I'm interested in seeing how the quality of the gameplay is going to work with doing it this way. I didn't have a terrible experience on the Vita doing remote play, so it gives me a little bit of promise there. And of course, with cloud gaming, you have your system transmitting to the cloud, transmitting your button presses, and then it's transmitting all the way from the cloud service center all the way over back to you to your TV screen, and that's a lot of electronic
I don't-
juju to be happening all
They're
at,
not,
all
they're
at
not doing
once.
cloud streaming though. With
They're
that
not.
device,
This
right.
is just this is strictly
Remote.
yeah.
this is remote play, and since I've had some positive experience with that, that was attractive to me. So I could see how. And Melissa likes to watch TV all the time, so like I this could be helpful for someone like me. That being said, my main issue is that there's like no Bluetooth support for
Yeah,
wireless
no.
Audio,
headphones.
right?
Yeah, so you have to use Sony's proprietary. They're pulling like an Apple here. It's like you have to use our
Mm.
I didn't know
proprietary
about
audio
that.
devices.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which the ones that they announced were also $200.
extremely
What?
expensive.
So now you're looking at
Extremely.
$400, unless
Yeah.
your family who stole the TV are fine with you playing with the volume up. So at that point, why don't you just spring for a PlayStation 5 digital?
Yeah, right.
Or
Exactly.
I might be wrong here, but can't you do remote play on a phone from your PS5?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, you
Yes.
can.
So why on earth would you not just spend $50 on like one of those controller, like what are those things, black bones or
Backbone,
Like-
yeah.
Yeah, with the
Backbones.
controllers that have the
yeah, with the analogs and stuff like
Yeah.
that? Why wouldn't you just do that?
Because the portal will have haptic feedback, Jeff. Your phone
Oh my
doesn't
god.
have that.
And also, this thing doesn't run any media playback either, so it's literally just for this. You can't
yeah.
YouTube, Netflix. You can't take. It's not like a mini tablet.
If you install that on your PlayStation, then yes, you can have that.
Well, yes, anything you
Yeah.
can do remotely is
Yeah.
on your PlayStation. But as by itself,
I couldn't imagine streaming Netflix to my PS5 and then streaming
Streaming
that
it to
to
your
this thing.
Yeah.
Like,
because chances are you can just download the app to your phone and stream it directly from your phone.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
really don't know who this is for. It's not for us.
not for
and I
us.
Don't
It's
see
not
it
for
being
us.
for anyone who knows anything about gaming. Like, I don't think it's for the casual people either. I don't think it's for them.
No.
So maybe collectors, I guess. I don't know. Just to
I
get
don't
it
know.
It's
and
just
be
a,
like,
it's,
look what
it's
I
a,
bought.
It's
I'll
a
get
very,
it. I'll get one of these on clearance at Walmart when they're trying to get rid of them.
it's
It's like,
a
oh,
very,
$50?
seriously.
Sure, why not?
it's an odd toy to put out right off the heels of PSVR ostensibly failing, right? Like I just feel like, okay, like I don't know. It just seems like they're making concessions because PSVR 2 is just doesn't seem
It's
to
not
be.
doing well,
It
yeah.
doesn't look like it's not even being supported. Like I'm not even seeing it at the forefront of things. Like it's, and then this right after it, it's like this is your answer
The
to.
PS Portable.
Like this.
I don't know.
I like the PSP Go, whatever that thing was. I
Yeah.
thought that thing had potential, even though at the time it was kind of ahead of its time. I think.
Yeah.
But
I
this,
kind of
don't
remember
get
us shitting on that news when the
when it came
PSP
out.
Go was announced. We were
Probably.
asking like, who is this for? We all have PSPs. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got one. I love it.
I liked
I,
it.
rem-
Yeah,
I
it
remember
was
you. I
cool.
remember you liking it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much. Oh, there's one other thing. Microsoft announced wraps for the wraps, like not like a chicken wrap, like a wrap you can put around your Series X that are going to be themed. They're coming in November. Again, I think they're cool. I think they're overpriced.
Are
But
they
they
just
have
vinyl stickers or what the hell?
They're like they attach with like kind of like Velcro. I guess they're they are vinyl.
Okay.
And they wrap around, and at the back there's basically like a Velcro thing that goes behind the console or whatever.
Weird.
And they have 2 camo ones coming out in November and a Starfield. The Starfield themed one does look hot. It does look nice.
All right.
But these things are going for $40 to $45.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a bit high. I think.
Yeah.
Like
All right. You'll find them on Etsy for 15.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you'll have to start going
By the
for,
time
like,
by the time
yeah.
I finish this sentence, it'll be available.
Yeah, seriously. And I guess it's come back. I mean, the PlayStation's got the plates you can get. I mean, I got a couple, not the official ones. I got
Aren't those like $60 or something?
Yeah, the
they
plates
are
are
expensive
overpriced too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they're both overpriced. They're not. Neither of them are like a deal by any means.
No.
I do like the look of my PlayStation 5 with the ones I got, but the ones I got aren't the official ones. They're the D brand ones that are like the rounded edges and stuff.
Yep.
It's giving me vibes of the 360 faceplates, but those were affordable. Those were like $10-15 for one of those things. Like,
And
okay,
cool.
I I think I have like 4 of those laying around.
Yeah, and you
somewhere.
can
I
get
never
like
actually put 'em
special
on.
editions of the games that came with them and stuff, couldn't you? Like
Yeah,
there's a few
and
of
they'd
them
give
did
them out
that.
at like E3 and stuff, like limited ones and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They can start to, yeah, whatever. There might be one cool one that comes out. I'll be like, you know what? I'll get it. I have been tempted to get the purple plates for the PS5. I'm not gonna lie.
I do have those.
I
I've
like that
never
color.
put them on though.
Do you?
I bought
Oh, really?
a generic, like a third party one. I've been
Mhm.
buying faceplates for my Xbox Series X controllers. Like I've got this orange one with like
Ooh,
purple.
I like that.
I've been tricking them out.
Oh, that's cool.
just
I like
for,
Where are
it
you
a
getting
lot.
just for
those?
home. Just
They just
Amazon.
they just snap on there, or just like
Yeah, there's like
magnetic, or?
6 screws in the back that you take care of and
Oh yeah.
pry it
Okay.
off and pop it on. It's easy.
Huh?
I'd like to zhuzh up my
Customization.
controllers for sure.
You want to know
Soup 'em up.
the stupidest fucking thing that I have on here though?
What's that?
Something
I-
that emulates old games. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
if you would think so. I don't know if you can see it.
Audio
No.
only.
So
No.
there's a silicone ring around
Right.
the thumbstick here that I
Okay.
that I put on. That's custom.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like
Oh, it doesn't rub
click.
against
I
the
see
It
what you're
doesn't
saying.
rub.
Yeah.
It's so smooth. It's ridiculous. But it's like $10 for 6 of these little fucking rubber rings. Oh god.
Oh wow.
At least I feel there's some, like, you can do something with that. You know,
Yeah.
it's
It
it's got
does
a use.
it does feel really nice, but
It's practical. Yeah.
it's a little overpriced for some little silicone rings. God damn it.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
Oh well. That's
No.
basically the news. Unless you guys have anything that I missed, I could have missed some stuff because with Gamescom going on, but I didn't really see too much.
I think that's pretty much it.
Cool. Do you guys
Yeah.
want to do a quick question of the week? We don't have too much
Yes.
feedback in this one, but it'd be a cool discussion.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this actually came to us via Amazing Amy, friend of the show. She's
Hi,
Hi,
Amy.
Amy.
Hi.
she contributes almost weekly at this point,
She's great.
and she says she's got a question. Best co-op experience you've had in a video game. Some of the best co-op memories I have are playing Payday 2 with real life friends pulling off crazy bank heists as a team.
Okay.
So, and to piggyback on that, so that's what she's saying. That's an example. She showed us when Diablo 4 came out, she replied. We kind of had like a back and forth, and she had a LAN party. I'm not sure if it was at her place or her friends, but I think she said they had 8 of them, and it was like an
Wow.
old school LAN party. Of course, they all played over the internet, all playing Diablo 4 like unreleased, and that just looked like,
it
oh,
must have
I
been
miss
so
those
hot in
days.
there. Oh my god.
Oh, though that too,
Good times.
probably. Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, so what are some like co-op memories you guys have? Of anything, a game, a specific anecdote, something that's sticks
First-
out in your mind.
First one that comes to mind is PSO. Fantasy Star
Yeah.
Online. Like,
Oh man.
Mhm.
and it wasn't just like the in-game, co-op. It was the in real life shit that happened
Yeah.
because of that game as well.
Mhm.
That really got me going. Got me
I
there.
gotcha.
Did it for me.
Like the community, or just like
Yeah.
you guys would meet up and yeah.
that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd meet at conventions
Yes.
and
The
shit.
answer is
and
yes. Yeah.
Yes, all of that. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
the forums, PS Otakus and Pocket Otaku. Yeah, we were kind of sister
That's-
sites.
That's how Jason and I met.
Yep.
Was through essentially PS Otakus.
Mhm.
I was never like a regular member of PS Otakus, but I was friends with a bunch of people that were, and that's how I ended up meeting Jason.
Yep.
Was through them.
Yeah, we just kind of affiliated with one another, like both the sites did. So, because we shared so many members and stuff. So, and then we all met up at conventions and became real life friends. And it was
ASIN, AWA, and yeah, it was great.
fuck yeah, dude.
PSO is actually the game that got me to join my very first video game forum. It was
Nice.
Sega Web. I think the site was called Sega Web,
Sure.
I think, if
Okay.
I remember correctly.
I
But yeah.
remember going to PS Otakus and like, so do you guys like anime and stuff? I like Trigun. Like, are you guys cool? Can I hang out? It was a lot like that.
Travis, anything pop out in your head?
I'm gonna kick one off for both me and Chris because clearly, the community that we built around Destiny was humongous. And Chris is still playing. I'm not playing anymore, and I miss the hell out of most of those guys. that I it was just awesome. Like every Tuesday, we knew what we were doing. We were getting together. We were running strikes. We were running our nightfalls, and then once everybody was online, we were hitting our raids. And sometimes we were efficient and we can get it all done in one night. Sometimes we'd come back Wednesday or Thursday and clean them up, or do our second raids and third raids. But just
And then
having
and
that.
then we would work on like flawless and things like that,
Mhm.
and and
But
we'd
behind
stream some of them.
but behind the scenes, we had our Slack chat and constantly talking, and then what came from essentially Destiny. It came multiple topics, movies, TV shows, other fun stuff. Posting pictures of our food that we're cooking every night, like just fun things like that. And it just, I ended up taking trips, like trips to Chicago to go see Omer and other people, Taylor, to go see those cats, and hang out with them and have some great experiences that were outside of the game. So when you can do that, like similar to what Jason, you were talking about with PS Otaku, and
Mhm.
when you can take your hobby, something that you have fun with at home, and build and cultivate some great relationships and build those outside of the game, there's nothing like it. It kind of brings me back to meeting you guys for the first time. It was I was in Atlanta, you were in Atlanta, and I was randomly listening to you guys. And got the invite to come hang out and play Street Fighter all night, and we did that. And you know, we're kind of cool now. I would say it worked
Yeah.
out.
All right.
You're okay.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
I have a specific one that I want to call out when it comes
Okay.
to Destiny, because like Travis said, and Travis, you might have been in this raid. I can't remember, but I think you were, and you'll absolutely remember it when I talk about it. But we were doing the Crota raid, and the Crota raid in Destiny 1 was great because it was super short. And that's what he was talking about. Like, if we were efficient, we could get through that raid with all 3 characters in one night and get all the gear that we needed and all that stuff. And the Crota raid, the first section of the raid had this area where you had to go through darkness and you were lighting up
Yeah.
lamps and things
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
fun.
And if you had a good hunter that was decked out with gear that would make them invisible, they could literally just stealth through the whole thing and pull everybody to the next area. And I don't remember who had the job originally.
It was Omer.
Oh,
That was his specialty.
yeah. So somebody had the job to do it, and they ended up dying. And we were like, all right. And I think it was Jamal. I'm like, Jamal, because he was already like 2 lamps in. Jamal, it's on you. Like, Omer died. We need you to go, stealth the lamps. He's like, all right, no problem. I got this. And then all of it, like, literally right when he says that, he goes, oh shit, Guardian down. The timing was impeccable. And it was just hilarious. But there's a lot of moments like that
First time
it's not
Galahorn
just,
drops, like, don't
oh
get me
my
started.
god,
First time Galahorn drops were like the greatest thing that you could witness for one
my
of your friends. It was
my
so cool.
first exotic was shit. What was it called? It was the sniper that recharged ammo.
Icebreaker. Icebreaker, yeah.
And it was like a key item to have in the Vault of Glass raid. So then, like, it was super exciting for me, like the first time I got an exotic. Just, it's things like that, like the feeling, like PSO was the same way. If you got like that good drop, it was
It
like
changes it's build changing. Yeah, it's really good.
That's a
and like
spread
if you're in
needle
a
right
party
there.
chat or something like that, it's like, yeah, it's just really exciting. So it's good stuff.
Cool. We have another reply here. Kind of ties into one of mine. It's from Sniper Maverick. He says,
What's up, man?
he says Gears of War. And he's replying to me here. He says, pretty sure it was you and I playing the first time you used the Hammer of Dawn, and you have to lead the hulking dude outside. It's really a short sequence, but we were ducking and weaving and screaming like little girls as he came charging at us. It's a she sniper. The berserker is a she. Just saying. Just letting you know.
Get your lore right.
Yes, that was fun. I remember we were screaming, and that was just a crazy sequence to go through the first time. It was nuts. And yeah. He also says, and of course, literally any time the Mustachios just danced around in Destiny, pretty sure we do that more than actually playing the game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kind of true. I do remember specifically when the beta came out for Destiny, and this was probably what some of the most fun I've had in a co-op thing. Period. Just because of the whole, I guess situation. What happened? We were just fucking around in the a tower or whatever it was
Mhm.
called, and we just started crouch walking for no reason. And then we got in a line. I think there was 5 of us in a party, so we're,
Oh,
we're
that's
all crouch
awesome.
walking in a line
That's
and just
awesome.
following the person. Then other people started following us, so we had this big
That's
line
great.
going. And then I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you guys remember. You guys played more Destiny than anybody. You go downstairs in that area, and there's kind of like a bar setup type thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Captain Harlock went behind the bar and just started emoting like the pointing thing. And we stood in a line. Everyone stood in a line, and we just pretended to get a drink from him, and then went
Oh,
away. And then
nice.
the next person would walk up, and then whatever, and the next person would walk up. It
That's
was
good.
so dumb, but it was
That's so
so
fun.
funny, and
Yeah.
it was just like it was ridiculous. It was it was a good time.
Yeah,
Um,
Elden Elden Ring with you guys was also a really cool experience for me too. And that was more it was a lot of fun to do, but it was just more of because I wasn't really a Souls player where you guys were
mhm.
much, more versed in the Souls games. And that was a lot of fun. Like, and I always loved like every once in a while, when you guys were helping me out getting a boss or something like that, or finding an item, and someone would invade the game, and it's like I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if this person knows what they're about to get into.
No, they never do.
So yeah, it's good shit like that. I like it.
Cool. We got another reply here. It's from Greg Little. He
What's up,
But
says,
not
my brother and I love to go to our local arcade and play all sorts of beat 'em ups because they were the only co-op games we can get early on. Games like X-Men, TMNT, The Simpsons, Final Fight. Our holy grail was D&D Tower of Doom.
Fuck yeah.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Said they lost many afternoons to that game. I didn't play that game till late. That
Mm.
recently, actually.
Jason, I will say, like, there was like 2 or 3 years ago, you were like, "Hey guys, everybody needs to buy this game,
Seriously.
Yeah, I
and we need to
downloaded
play
it.
it." And I downloaded it. We've yet to play
Yep,
it.
Damn
I
it.
downloaded it.
Damn it. I'm
I
ready
think I have it
anytime.
too. I'll say
Yeah.
that. I think I have
That's
it
the first
too.
time I played it. It was the collection or whatever. It was like on sale or
Yep.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I played that too.
I
Those
would
are
give
great.
more credit personally to Castle Crashers because that's the game that brought me back
That style.
into brawlers. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I really, really enjoyed Castle Crashers.
Mhm.
Castle Crashers was fantastic.
It
That
was
was a
really
lot
good.
of fun.
The best night of Castle Crashers was the night we had the random fighting game tournament at Jason's house
Fighting
that he
game
threw.
tournament. That's right.
And then the grand finale was
Mm,
Castle Crashers. And
yeah.
I remember Blue Steel getting pissed off because he felt cheated.
Well, he got eliminated earlier on, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That was a
That's
good night.
funny.
That was good times.
Mhm.
Does anyone else have another game that sticks out or
Like
anecdote?
things like
I have
Left 4
games like
Dead. Yeah,
yeah.
Left 4 Dead was a big community game for quite some time. Didn't really necessarily have the reverberations of like a Destiny or a Street Fighter that kind
Mm,
of affected our IRL. Um, but really the big one that comes out that really talks to me more recently is it Takes Two. I
yeah.
just love that game. I've spoken about it on the show already, so I won't go into it, but that was something that brought me and my wife together. And it's just ironic that it's a story about a man and a wife trying to
Divorce.
get back together.
Yeah.
So like there was immediate immersion, and she also got to attempt something that by the time you get to the end of that game, it's not a simple game that anyone can play unless
Not
you
even by the
really,
end of
really
that
play it and
game,
learn it.
man. The first like
It's
30 minutes. It's
yeah, it's pretty tough
yeah.
platforming in certain areas, and she learned to take it in stride, and we finished the game together. So that
I don't know how you
was,
did it.
and it's always great. It's always great finishing together. Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
That's
So, but
I
we
played
did
with
try.
Johnny.
We did try A Way Out
Well, sorry, before going to A
afterwards.
Way Out, I have something to say about
Yeah.
It Takes Two, because I
Okay.
played through that mostly all the way with Johnny as a boy. And Johnny, if you're listening, hurry the fuck up. We got to fix our divorce. I think we're like at the very end, and then he got something happened. He was doing something. He got busy for a couple weeks, and we just never finished it. But I remember at so many points, I was like, because I know you and Melissa played it together, and Johnny and I have experience with video games, so a lot of this stuff just came naturally. Like we just knew. You recognize stuff with game design. You just know what to do. And the other person knows. And so many times I was like, I would love to play this with Tanya, but I don't think I would have the patience for it.
It's not that
Just
bad,
like,
Jeff.
I don't
It's
know, man.
not that. I'm
There are
telling
some
you, it's
parts
not
I
that
was just
bad.
like, not parts of like skill wise, like platforming. I just mean general gameplay, like game tropes and stuff that you just
Sure.
know. Like you see something over there, and they're like, "Okay, well, obviously, you have to pull this switch. This is gonna do this, whatever." Stuff like that. I'm just like, "Oh my god,
Some people
I don't
can't.
think I would have the
Their
patience."
mind can't piece together like the concept of the twin sticks in a 3D space.
Oh no,
Like,
yeah,
some people
that
just
too.
don't get it, and that's fair. That's fair. But I was just bringing up just to credit It Takes Two. Like after we were done with that, we wanted to play another game together, so we tried A Way Out.
I
And
love that.
just it didn't. It is a good game. I think
It's
Jeff,
different.
like me and you, tried to play it, but I think we could have beaten it. We just didn't make time
I
for
ended
it.
up beating it with a friend of mine,
Okay,
not
cool.
too long ago.
But yeah, just the material itself didn't really mesh for what Melissa and I were trying to do. But
Yeah, it's a totally different tone and everything. It's good though. I highly suggest playing both those games. They're both very, very good.
yeah. Anybody have any other any
Yeah.
choice experiences?
Yeah, I'm going to cheat a little bit and not say a co-op game. I'm going to say a competitive game, and that's the
fair.
fighting
Sure.
games. There's a certain camaraderie that comes with the fighting game community. Whether it be sharing knowledge, fatalities or special moves or anything like that, or having tournaments at your house, random fighting game tournaments, and there's a lot of good memories that I have surrounding Street Fighter 4 in particular.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To this day, once in a while, I put on the Indestructible song just to like be transport. Like music
it's
is
so good.
I've
music's
got it on my
transportive,
soundboard
man,
over
and
here.
it takes me back to like what was that, like 2009,
Nine, I
4,
think.
5, 6, yeah, whatever.
9,
Like
yeah.
it just brings me back, and it puts a smile on my face 100% of the time. And that was the height of Street Fighter for me, and probably Scrub Sport took everything that I enjoyed from Street Fighter and lended it to everything that I love about like sports tournaments and things like that. And that was probably one of my favorite moments with the community. And then you guys were doing Scrub Sports Center, so every week we had a podcast to listen to that went over the week. That was fun, man. That was a good time. And it's amazing what video games can do, man. Like I remember being a kid and my dad like, quit playing it so much, you're wasting your time. And now at this day I have multiple groups of friends, and some of my closest friends that I met that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for something like this. So definitely co-op gaming and competitive has just been hugely important.
We're going to make some more of those moments with Baldur's Gate, gentlemen.
Okay.
And with Baldur's Gate, Lucky Pooch, he replied, and he said, "I played through most of Divinity 2 with a group of friends, and it was pretty cool. It was tough balancing 4 people's schedules, but very rewarding when we were able to make the time to play together."
Wow. Did they finish it?
He did not say. I'm not too sure.
That would be impressive.
He said most of Divinity 2, so I'm not sure if that means like he played most of it in co-op or they just played most of the game together co-op, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I guess we'll find out with Baldur's Gate 3. I did play a little bit of Divinity co-op with a buddy of mine. I convinced him to get it, but we only played through like the first hour, so it's hard to tell. The only other one I can bring up is early in this. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it was because Halo 4 was coming out. I don't know what the deal was, but I wanted to play Halo 3 in one sitting on a Sunday.
Right.
And we had people from the community come in and out, drop in co-op like
I was
all day
in
on
that
Sunday.
with you.
That was fun.
I
you
did some
probably
of
were.
that. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I remember that.
I
Because that was the second time I played through most of Halo 3 with the group. Yeah, I remember that actually.
Yeah, that was like I just actually remembered about that like just now, and it was. I remember like Devil Over Again. He was in there for most of it too, but the people would just jump in and out. We'd always have 3 or 4 people
Mhm.
throughout the day, and we played through the entire. I don't think we played on Legendary. It might have been Heroic, but
That is
that
one
was
of the
fun.
that is one of the best to this day, one of the best co-op first-person shooter experiences that you can get your hands on. It
And
is.
for exactly the opposite reason, we could talk about our experience with Haze.
Jeff
This is
shot me right
before
in the
my-
fucking face.
This is before my time, listeners. So
Gentlemen, it's
Yeah.
the Halo
please
killer.
tell the story.
Haze
Yeah.
is the Halo
My
killer.
God,
How long did that last? It couldn't have been more than like an hour.
It
Like
was
we
like
probably played
45
for about
minutes.
an hour.
We
45
couldn't
minutes
even,
an hour,
we
yeah.
couldn't stand it. We
It-
couldn't stand one
yeah.
another at the end of it.
it was
It was
awful. It was awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah. And the thing is, that was the very first game the 3 of us played together.
Yep.
At the
Was
same
it?
time. Yep.
I think so.
Oh wow.
It was.
Oh, wow.
It was all downhill from there.
Warhawk.
It
It was yeah. But anyway, those are all the replies, and big thanks to Amy as well. And of course, if anyone has any suggestions for anything like this, just hit up our Twitter, any one of us or whatever, and well, gives us something to talk about on a weekly basis.
We love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it though, right? That's a show, gents.
I think
Yes,
so.
it is.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up. I have some Baldur's Gate to get back to. So
I have some
Armored-
dinner to make.
I got some Armored Core to play.
all
Hmm.
right. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell a few friends about us, like, subscribe, and drop us a comment. All those things help us in the long run. You can also check out our link tree right below. If you go to interactivedistractions.com, it will lead you right there. So again, thank you for listening. My name is Chris.
I'm Travis.
Jeff. Oh.
I'm Jason.
It's
So
we're-
used to being next
Go.
to you.
We go in the order. Yeah, it's different this time. So let's do this again. Thank you for listening. Until next week, my name is Chris.
I'm your boy Travis.
I'm Jason still.
I'm Jeff.
And we still want you to play your games. And we'll talk
Hefe.
to you next week.